What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Behind Show. As we get closer to the college football season, I don't think there's a single team that I'm higher on this year than the Virginia Tech Hokies. In this video, I want to be telling you why I think they're going to win the ACC this season. But before we get much into this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on either Instagram or Twitter. I'm giving away a free copy of NCAA Football 25. The winner is going to be announced on July 19th. So all you have to do is just follow me on Instagram or Twitter and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you are already entered in the giveaway. So when you're looking at Virginia Tech this season, I think they're going to be very, very good, and I think they're going to shock a lot of people this season. One reason I think they're going to win the ACC is because they return 22 starters. That is absolutely unheard of, and they return the most starters of any team in FBS this year. Virginia Tech really ended the season on a high note. They won 7 of their final 9 games, and those 2 losses were against very good teams, Louisville and Florida State, and both those teams were in the ACC championship game. More specifically, with those 22 starters, they returned Kyron Drones. I know this might be a bold take, but I really think Kyron Drones is going to be a Heisman contender this season. He was absolutely phenomenal towards the end of the year last season for the Hokies. Last season for Virginia Tech, he threw for 17 passing touchdowns and just 3 interceptions. Drones managed to have over 800 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns as well. And Virginia Tech's win against Tulane in the Military Bowl, Kyron Drones broke the Military Bowl record for most rushing yards in the game with 176. And you look at Drones, he was absolutely dominant these last several games at the end of the year for Virginia Tech. In his last 4 games, he threw at least 2 passing touchdowns in every single game, having 10 passing touchdowns his final 4 games for the Hokies. And each of those final 4 games, he had at least 50 rushing yards in those contests as well. In 2 of those 4 games, he managed to have 135 rushing yards or more. He's absolutely dominant. He is so mobile. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in college football that just people aren't talking about. It's absolutely incredible when you look at the progress that Kyron Drones made from the start of the season last year to the end of the season. Because at the start of the season last season, Kyron Drones was not even the starter for Virginia Tech. It was a transfer of Grant Wells from Marshall, who was the starter at Virginia Tech, and then Drones eventually took over. And Drones absolutely won that job. He was phenomenal for Virginia Tech, and I really think he's going to be a big part of Virginia Tech this season. And don't be surprised if he's going to be in Heisman talk this season. Another reason why I think Virginia Tech is going to win the ACC is because when they won games, they were so dominant. They blew out teams every single time they won last year. Virginia Tech had 7 wins last season, and in those 7 wins, they beat every single team by at least 17 points. That is absolutely incredible. In the Hokies' 7 wins last year, the average score was 40-17. So when they were winning, they were absolutely demolishing teams. Even look at their losses. Virginia Tech was 7-6 last year. So like I said, all their wins were at least 17. And in their losses, they were very, very close games too. If just 1 or 2 things goes the Hokies' way, we're looking at a team who very easily could have won 8 or 9 games last year. 3 of 6 Virginia Tech's losses last year were by 1 possession. They lost to Marshall, Purdue, and NC State all by 1 possession. In those 3 games that they lost that were not by 1 possession, Rutgers, who was okay last season, but the other 2 teams were Florida State and Louisville, teams like I already mentioned, who were in the ACC championship game last season. So it's not like those are easy wins by any means. They were competitive in nearly every single game last season, and just the games they were not really close in were teams who were much better than last year. But I think this year they had definitely what it takes to get revenge on those teams like Louisville and Florida State this upcoming year. Another reason why I think Virginia Tech is definitely capable of winning the ACC this season is because they have a very, very manageable schedule this upcoming year. When you look at their out-of-conference games, they play at Vandy, they play Marshall, at Old Dominion, and they play Rutgers. I would be absolutely shocked if they lose any of those games. And when you look at last season, Virginia Tech lost to Marshall, they lost to Rutgers, but that was early in the year before Drones really took over this Hokies offense. I definitely think they're going to get revenge over both of those teams this upcoming season. You look at their in-conference play, some of the teams they play in the ACC. There's really only 2 games to me to watch out for Virginia Tech. They have a September 27th matchup, a Friday night game. They go in Miami to take on Miami, Florida. I think that is a big one to watch out for. And then the other game to watch out for in the ACC is a November 9th matchup against Clemson. But that game is in Blacksburg, so it gives the Virginia Tech Hokies a huge advantage against Clemson. When you look at Clemson, when you look at Miami, I think those teams, are definitely the teams to, probably more than likely to win the ACC, but I think Virginia Tech is very capable of beating either one of these teams. So when you look at the fact that Virginia Tech has an easy schedule, they returned 22 starters, the most of any team in FBS this season. When you look at the fact that they were so dominant last year, beating every single team by at least 17 points. They returned Kyron Drones. There's a lot to look forward to if you are a Virginia Tech Hokies fan, and I really think this season they have what it takes to win the ACC. I think they're capable of making the college football playoffs, but this is a team to watch out for this year. Virginia Tech, I really think, is going to shock a lot of people this year. But don't be surprised if Virginia Tech ends up winning the ACC this season. But that about does it for this video. If you're new to my channel or you've seen my videos before, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time on the Sports Through Hein Show.